Special guest in the booth for the second period intermission is the world famous blogger for the Kimberley Dynamiters, Josh Lockhart. World famous because you mentioned last time that we chatted that you were getting calls from almost everywhere talking about the big donation that the Dynamiters,
right?
The big commitment the Dynamiters had received.
Right. Yes. That was unreal, that blog post, that month, or just the month, the stats for that month. It is such an outlier.
I think I got like over 44,000 views. Like,
that's a lot.
That's a lot when I usually average
44?
Well, yeah, that's how it started off. It's actually been neat to see the growth over time, but I usually get about 7,000 to 10,000 views a month. Yes.
You are world famous. And I thought I was kidding.
It's more like BC, Alberta, hockey world.
Those are part of the world. Those are parts of the world.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They're not all Kimberley people.
They are not all Kimberley people.
So before we get into it, let's talk about some of the mistakes we've made in our prognostications this far in the season.
I don't make mistakes.
Okay, so some of the inaccuracies. You and Donald Trump, you never make a mistake.
Oh,
and if you do, you never admit it.
Compare me to Donald Trump.
Well, he's the only other guy that never makes mistakes that I know of.
Good.
So
there's this guy a long time ago named Jesus who didn't make any mistakes, but anyway.
Yeah, he was very special.
Yeah,
I know him well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both prognosticated that the Beaver Valley Nighthawks and the Crescent Valley Thundercats would struggle this year.
Correct.
And both the Beaver Valley Nighthawks and the Crescent Valley Thundercats are currently, I believe that the Nighthawks are third in their division, and the Crescent Valley Thundercats hot on the heels of the Kimberley Dynamiters, second in the Eddie Mountain division.
Yeah, definitely a vast difference from how I said they'd be last in our division.
And you said that Beaver Valley Nighthawks might not even make the playoffs.
I thought Spokane would leap past them. Wrong there too.
Spokane's struggling.
And we talked about this before. Just because they don't get enough players to ice a full roster.
Last time they were here, I think they had 14 skaters, which is not enough to compete at a high-paced game that the Dynamiters play.
Yes. Right now they are beating the Rockets 6-2 though, so might still. But anyway, it's not looking good. Those two pieces definitely.
Well, the thing is that we both prognosticated the same thing. So
mine was. I think you had Creston in last place, or not last place, like in the fourth spot.
Yes.
Whereas I had Creston in fifth place, and I didn't make a lot of friends when I said that. And I am definitely eating my words right now.
And the Crescent Valley Thundercats came into the barn last week and put it to the Dynamiters for 40-45 minutes. Dynamiters came back and got a tie and ended up losing in overtime. But the Thundercats are for real. It's not something that's a fluke. They're playing excellent hockey, and they're going to be here tomorrow night, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I know.
And we'll get to see.
We have yet to beat them this year. But their blogger, interestingly enough, there was I don't know what to call it, like podcast or SoundCloud. It was on SoundCloud. When I helped with the Cyclone Taylor Cup earlier this year, there was Mark Berry, who does the voice of the Campbell River Storm, and they were playing the Cyclone Taylor Cup. So he was there, and he did an interview today with Eric Blow, who does the voice for the Thundercats, and he was mentioning just how awesome the Cats have been doing, that even though they have, I think, 16 rookies, they are starting to gel and are just taking off.
They showed that they've got a lot of speed, a lot of skill, and great goaltending, pretty much like always. Which
I didn't anticipate when you have 16 rookies. There's been this correlation in the league. So
let's
more rookies,
let's talk about rookies in the KIJHL.
Yes.
We've got a rookie in the KIJHL, which is Graham. He played in the AJ last year.
Yeah.
he's a rookie.
Totally.
He's not a rookie.
No.
He's a seasoned player, a good player, and the same thing with much of the Thundercats team. They have players that are new to the KIJHL, but not new to junior hockey.
No, that's true.
And that's a problem I have with labeling players
as a rookie.
And we've got a whole bunch of rookies in our team too.
Well, Brock Palmer is leading our team in scoring, and he's a rookie.
Right. And Graham is a rookie. But having said that, they're not rookies. They're seasoned players coming from other places. Now, we have a couple of raw rookies on the club, and I believe that Kristen does as well.
Yep.
A couple of young players. But having said that, most of their team have played junior hockey before.
Totally. Absolutely.
Same as us. So, what's happening with the blog then?
So the big thing that I did on the blog this week was my clutch scoring that I do, where I look at how players perform in those clutch moments, at least as best as recorded by volunteers throughout the league, right? So I look at power play goals, power play assists, shorthanded goals, shorthanded assists, and then game-winning goals. And let me just get those results. And I tried doing something different this time, where I made a little infographic instead of just listing things out.
Okay.
Apparently people are now into infographics and don't want to read a table of...
They want to see a graph.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made... Sorry, you guys can't see out there, but see, I made something nice and beautiful.
Oh, yeah, you got pictures and everything.
Pictures and everything, so it looks sharp.
Now, if you could just work on our focus, a lot of people will be very happy.
I know. Yeah.
So...
I don't know what's going on with that.
Neither do we, apparently.
It used to be pretty crisp. But what was interesting is Jordan Robertson, who from Grand Forks Border Bruins, at least at the time when I made this, who was playing for the Grand Forks Border Bruins, he was ranked second, and he was just traded, now I'm forgetting what team he was just traded to from the Border Bruins. He went to a different team.
I know Golden has made a whole bunch of trades here the last week or so.
Oh, now I'm gapping on him. I'll find it in a moment. So anyway, he was second, but Chase Heat have two players ranked first and third, with Josh Bourne. I love Josh Bourne. First, Josh is a cool name, and then Bourne is a cool name, given the
Jason Bourne, his older brother. Yes.
Yeah. Totally. So he has scored 6 power play goals, 9 power play assists, and has 4 game-winning goals to his name, which I think is pretty impressive.
That's pretty good for the Chase Heat.
Yeah.
It's good for any club.
Totally. And then third is Pat Brady with 7 power play goals and 8 power play assists. The Dynamiters did have players crack the top.
The top 20,
Yeah, the top 20, with Chase Gedney actually being number 1. And this is where I find it interesting. Yes, Brock Palmer leads our scoring, but Chase Gedney, at least at this point, and how I track these stats,
more clutch,
is a little bit more clutch. Brock Palmer, yes, is putting up goals and is scoring those goals, which is fantastic. But so Brock Palmer is actually right after Chase Gedney, and then right after Brock Palmer is Nicholas Katola. So we have players at 5th and tied for 6th. So that's our club.
Gedney's definitely a trigger man on that line, especially when he's playing with Davies and Katola. And I noticed they took Katola off that line, and Katola's playing with McDonald and Russell tonight. And that line's going really well as well.
It totally is. I've dubbed Katola as Captain America, since he's the only American player on our team. After that one game where he scored 2 shorthanded goals, I didn't know what else. You're just so excited, and it's unreal. So I'm like, this guy's Captain America right now. So for me, that has stuck. He actually hasn't told me whether or not he likes me calling him Captain America, but I'm calling him Captain America.
Well, again, I think he has certainly improved his status from the beginning of the year.
Totally.
He's always been a solid player, but now we look at him as not only a solid player, he likes to hit, and he can certainly score.
Oh, and he's fast.
A great goal he scored tonight.
Yes, totally. And on chase down by Russell there, so it was great. The Rockies do have a player on this list, Ryan Skite. Ryan Skite. So he is tied for 9th on the list. So
Ryan Skite, solid player for the Rockies. He was one of their better players last year, and I think he may very well be the best player on the team this year. Nightpower, a good player for the Rockies. He's been all over the ice, and their captain, number 10, Cooper Krause. He's been a force out there using his physical size, and has stirred up a couple of the Dynamiters, and
he sure has.
which is
what you got to do.
That's what you want to do against a team that you're behind in. Try to get your teammates enthused and enthusiastic, and try to put the Dynamiters off their game, and he's done a good job doing that.
Yeah, what's been interesting with this game has been how polarizing these two teams have been. So when we played Invermere here the opening night, and Plaga stole the whole show, we, I believe, won 6-1. Then we go to Invermere and the Rockies win 6-2. Then they come here, and when you look at the stats and everything, you're like, okay, this should be not necessarily a close game in terms of low scoring, but a closer game in terms of higher scoring. And here we are 4-0 for the Dynamiters. So it's very, very polarizing hockey depending where these two clubs are playing.
I think the Columbia Valley Rockies are built for their arena.
Totally.
They are from what I understand, the biggest team in the Eddie Mountain Division. The Dynamiters, one of the quicker teams in the Eddie Mountain Division. Big versus quick in a big arena. Quick will likely outshine.
Yes.
In a small arena, big will slow down some of that quick and give them a much better opportunity. Now, having said that, I think the Columbia Valley Rockies will admit that the first game they played here was not a good game for them.
No.
And the Dynamiters admit that the time they played up in Invermere was not a good game for them.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is because you're playing in an arena that's built for the other team, or the other team's built for that arena.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the Columbia Valley Rockies, especially at the start of that second period, were a little bit more enthusiastic and hemmed the Dynamiters in for a good portion of that period. But the Dynamiters, with their speed and that fourth goal, where Russell negated that icing, got the puck to Katola. Katola put it in the net.
Yep.
That was an outstanding play, and the only team in the league that might have been able to do that as well is perhaps Creston, where you catch up to that puck before it crosses a red line and negate the icing, and have somebody like Katola that would be able to put the puck in the net. And the Thundercats have a couple of guys that have a good job, do a good job putting the puck in the net as well.
That finishing touch.
James is certainly one of them.
Yeah. Yes, he's a nightmare. But yeah,
from a Dynamiter fan perspective.
Yes, yeah. So, overall, I'm just surprised with the how this game has gone. But when you explain it like that, and when I've talked to Coach Stewart before, he says you build a team based on your home arena. So when you consider that, then it's not surprising, given that we're the home team. But yeah, it's. I wouldn't expect these kind of polar results. And out of those 13 shots for the Rockies, I would suspect about 75% of those have come during when they've had the power play.
Their two-man advantage. They had 5 shots on goal in their two-man advantage in that first period, and a couple of shots in that one-man advantage they had in that period. But again, the first part of the period where they were playing 5-on-5, they had a couple of good opportunities.
Chances. Yes, there was that one save that Anderson had to make, which was fantastic. So
the one-timer that, and I believe it was.
I can't remember the names now.
I was trying to think. I think it was Ryan Skite. Ryan Skite in the slot got a nice pass. He one-timed it, didn't get all of it, but Adam Anderson was able to come over and make the glove save. What I was going to say, though, is the Dynamiters, talking about scoring chances, I give the Rockies, out of those 13 shots, I believe 3 of them were scoring chances.
Yeah.
Good quality scoring chances that Anderson had to make a big save on. Out of the 30 shots that the Dynamiters had, 4 of them went in, obviously good scoring chances, but they had another 8 or 9. They've hit 5 goalposts, which I would consider a good scoring chance. Not even a shot on net, but good scoring chances. And Iwaschuk has made some unbelievable saves as well.
I'm glad, he played for the Rockets earlier this year. I'm happy to see him with the Rockies, where he might have a little bit more of a chance to
get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
indeed.
Because he's a good keeper. He just needs some defense in front of him to help him out.
And that's where the Dynamiters have been behind the defense pretty much all night long, and making life really exciting for Iwaschuk.
Yes.
More exciting than perhaps he wants it to be.
I don't know if I'd use the word exciting. I might say anxious. But
anxious. So I think Troy wants to come back, and we're going to do the third period.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming up and chatting about the blog, etc. And we look forward. Maybe you can come back tomorrow night and talk about the Creston Valley Thundercats, and apologize to the listeners in Creston for your rude comments. Josh Lockhart, the Dynamiter blogger.
Awesome.
Blogger's Blurb once again.
Blurb. Yep.